Hello everybody, Yom Tov, and it's me. I am back from, I've got to tell you, I've not been around because I have had a really bad bout of sciatica. I've spent days just lying on my back in bed, trying hard not to move the wrong way. It was pretty scary this time due to the, if anybody out there has had sciatica, and I imagine quite a few of you will have, the pain that you get from your back, then it goes down your legs and back up again, and well, mine sort of focuses more on the left leg. And I must admit, this time it was really scary because it was trying to get the right amount of pain meds into me to at least get it to dull. So anyway, that's where I've been. That's why there was no spooky sessions. That's why the things I planned over the weekend all went out the window. And that's why there wasn't anything yesterday. I don't know what caused it. Nobody can ever tell what causes sciatica. I've got the nerve pinched and trapped between S1 and L5, and it's there permanently because that's where the vertebrae have got it trapped. And they could offer me keyhole surgery, but they reckon it probably wouldn't work, so I just had to deal with it and get on with it. Which, let's be fair, the majority of us who have sciatica, you just have got to grin and bear it and wait until it passes. So even now, while I'm sitting talking to you, I'm sitting very gingerly, being very careful how I move, because believe you me, I do not want to provoke this any more than has been. I'm able to sit up now, and I've been very, very careful about doing my makeup and sorting myself out. But so anyway, that's where I've been. I want to ask how all of you are. You know what I've been doing now, so how are all of you? I'm just wondering if anywhere else in the world is finally waking up after these months of sort of being in a comatose state, if nothing else. As far as here in the UK is concerned, we're still on a form of lockdown, whereas you can have up to 6 people in a group, but they've still got to stay 2 meters apart. It doesn't look like as if our kids are going to get back to school until the start of the next school year, which is in September. So that's what's happening with our education system, as far as I'm aware. But keep in mind, the only news I ever get is what I can glean from online, because I don't have kids of school age anymore, so I'm sort of completely out of the loop as far as that's concerned. I was actually struggling with what I wanted to talk to you about today. One of the things I did want to sort of talk about is reaching out to all of you who do live with chronic pain. And how do you cope with chronic pain? We've got this thing about, well, especially over here, and I can only use me as an example. But as far as sciatica goes, for the length of time that it lasts, it's pretty debilitating. And both my kids have had sciatica. Hubby had his very first attack of sciatica a year gone February, and he was laid up for 6 to 8 weeks. That's how long it took him to recover. I know it was a long time for my first bout, which is going back, oh my goodness me, it's got to be about 16 years ago at least, I think. and I was out of commission for about 6 weeks. But after that, it was just like one bout after another, and nothing seemed to be right. And although I get twinges when I move the wrong way, now and again I will get an awful twinge that seems to come out of nowhere, and it's the pain that's the worst of it, you know, and having to deal with that. And as you can imagine, you're lying in bed there, you're frightened to move, you know. My hands are cramping a lot these days, so I'd want to like hold a book, but it's really difficult trying to get to that comfy place where you can hold a book and turn the pages. Or I don't have I used to have a Kindle. I don't know where the heck it is now. Long time since I've used it. But I read proper paper books, as you know. But I downloaded one of Lady Colin Campbell's books on our late Queen Mother. And Lady Colin takes no prisoners, even regarding the late Queen Mother, who everybody, you know, who remembers her still adores her. So I've been reading some of that, but it was nigh on near impossible trying to read it when I was in bed. Half the time I was that doped up. You know, it was going straight in one ear and right out the other one. So I've had to go back and reread it all again. But it was the lying there and feeling completely and utterly useless. You can tell I really need a haircut, can't you? My hair's sort of like, it's at that stage where it's really starting to irritate me. I'm lucky that my hairdresser is coming over at the weekend, but she's going to be coming up booted and suited, 3 masks on, you know, she's got PPE stuff. I don't know where she gets it from, but she's got PPE stuff. She's had to go back to work because all their savings have gone. But she's not even going to blow dry my hair because apparently it can spread germs. So I'm going to be left with cut and wet hair and have to dry it myself. So, I can do that. That's not a problem. And I don't want to cause problems for her. She doesn't want to cause problems for me. So that's the way it is until everybody's got the all clear, and then she'll go back to how things used to be. And my mind's been all over the place. I haven't been able to meditate because, like I said, I don't like meditating when I'm doped up, because I can't think clearly. When you're in pain, you can't meditate because the only thing you can focus on is the pain, especially when you're trying hard not to focus on the pain, and you find yourself focusing more on it than you did before. But anyway, after Saturday, my hair probably won't look that different. It's just going to get trimmed, if nothing else. You can see now it's like reached like collar length, and I don't know whether it's going to get any longer, to be honest with you. I haven't really thought that through yet. No, my mind's just been all over the place, and I've been thinking about, like, I came back online today, and it's amazing just going through things on Twitter, and you see people lashing out at other people for something maybe innocent that they've said, which to anybody else you'd think, well, that's an innocent enough remark. But then somebody takes it completely out of context. And then before you know it, they're really lashing out at somebody else. But when the person tries to defend themselves, the person who's offended is then saying, you can't say things like that to me because I have mental illness. And what you're doing is triggering me and you're making me worse. And, you're making me lose my temper. And you're the reason why, if you're offended because I've called you a name, that's your fault because you provoked this, in me to come out. And I was left thinking, hang on a minute. And this is a dodgy path to be walking on. But where do you draw the line between having a mental illness and just being badly behaved? I mean, we've all seen the I was in a dark place. We've all seen the I've been depressed and that's why I did such and such and so and so. I know people on this platform who have mental illnesses, and they are some of the nicest people you could ever wish to meet. And they'd never dream of lashing out at anybody else. So I'm left thinking, where do you draw the line between saying, oh, well, you've got to excuse that person because they have mental illness? Does that mean that you've got to let them get away with calling another person names and being rude to them? And, things like that. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the... I know I'm probably making a pig's ear out of this, but honestly, where do you actually turn around and say, I accept that you've got a mental illness, but there is no reason for you to be so nasty? And I may be very, very naive, and please forgive me if I'm saying this the wrong way, but like I said, I know through being on this channel in the Haven and generally, being online, and there are people who have, it's not their fault. They've got severe depression. They've got, they're bipolar. They have schizophrenia. They have schizoaffective disorder. They've got, just about anything that you can think of. If they've got, what's that one called? It's BPD. I think it's BPD. And again, I'm really struggling. You want to sort of reach out to someone and say, come on now, calm down and think about what you're saying, in fear in case I get slapped down and accused of trying to bully them as well into shutting them up, which is not what I would try to do. It's just a case of, come on, let's calm down, let's take a breather, and let's look at this from a different perspective when we're calmer. Because nobody's going to get anywhere, in the heat of the moment. You've got to be able to take a step back and take a deep breath and then think about what you've said. And I don't know if it's a case of some people genuinely cannot help it or whether they are just being downright nasty and using their mental illness as an excuse to behave badly. And I struggle with that because I never know the right thing to say. And there are times that I do feel like saying what I've just said to you. I know many people who have what you have, and I've never, ever seen them behave the way you do. So, but again, I've never walked a mile in their shoes. I don't know what they've been through. So I can't and I won't judge them. I just can't. But that's the thing, that's what I've been struggling with, and I've been deliberately keeping away from, newspaper headlines and things like that. Because face it, guys, it's same old, same old. Every day it's just, it's what I used to call, or what I still do call, SSDD. Pardon my French, but same shit, different day. And it's the same headlines, but just the words moved around a bit. And it gets to the point where you think, I don't want to watch this anymore. I can't watch it anymore. It's just depressing. And I don't know whether it's just the lockdown, because it just seems that, I can't remember where it started. And I honestly did believe that we were really close to it ending. And then before you know it, it's like, nope, not yet. Nope, not yet. So I'm sorry if this comes across as me being, low in mood, and I certainly don't want to trigger or offend anybody. But when you're lying there and all you've got at that time is your thoughts for company, your mind just goes all over the place. And I don't know. I think I've come to the conclusion that some people, not all, but some people do use the mental illness as an excuse to come out with some horrendous things. And I think it's a rotten thing to do. Especially when there are people out there now suffering, desperately needing a diagnosis so they can get the right medication. And they are desperately trying to keep body and soul together, mind and heart together. And they need support. And because of this lockdown, they're not able to get the support they need. My heart goes out to all those people. And even though I read about that it's said that people are suffering and what have you, and I can't help it. I just wish that I could do something to change it, but I can't. And I can't honestly tell you that I've done anything wild or wacky or different. I can give you one laugh though. Because I'm disabled, I'm allowed part of I get an allowance from the government, and it's called personal independence payment, and you get that if you're disabled. Well, I've obviously got there's two parts to it. There's the one for taking care of yourself like the person, and then there's the part for for mobility. Well, you've got to be able to have the enhanced. You've got to score so many points. You've got to score over 12 points for you to get the enhanced part of the payment. Well, I mean, I scored 21. So yeah, you can gather that I passed and I got the enhanced bit. Well, that pays for me to get a car every 3 years. Well, the car that I've got at the moment is called a Suzuki Vitara. And it's like a sort of, it's like a middle of the range sort of SUV sort of thing. Only seats 5 people. Well, there's only the 4 of us. So it can seat 5 people. It's hatchback. And it's big enough to take my wheelchair, so that's fine. But I thought for the length of time I've been in this scheme, I've had 4 different cars. And I thought I would like to have a change. I'd like to see what else is out there. So I go to this website called Motability. And they show you what you can get, and you can either literally get the car for nil payments up front. All they do is they take the mobility component from your government money. So I'm looking at some of them, and I'm looking at some of the ranges. I'm thinking, oh, I quite like the look of that one. I quite like the look of that one. And because we're now allowed to go and choose our next cars, because 3 years is up on my car, I called up a few people today. First place I called, the guy said, all I can offer you is a van. And I went, a van? He said, yeah, that's all I can offer you is a van. 2 seats in the front. And that's it. And I went, I don't want a van. So that was tick that one off. Went to another place. Oh yeah, sure, yeah, I can get you that car. But I need £2,500 up front, for you to get this particular model. And I went, no. Not because I'm mean, but just no. So there was another 3 ticked off. And you know what I'm left with? The car that I'm driving now. So I'm going to ring them tomorrow and arrange to go over and see if I can maybe get in a different colour. And if I can't, then I'll take the colour that they offer me, which is like a turquoisey blue, which is what I've got now. Because it goes up from 0 for the standard colour, which at the moment is the same colour as I've got now. If you want red, it costs you £800 to have your car sprayed red. So I guess it looks like I'll not be having red. So there you go. You think, you look at this website, you think, oh, all these wonderful cars for me to choose from. And then before you know it, there's your choices down to 1. And it's the one you've already got. So, anyway, guys, it's my time's up. And I have missed you. I do miss seeing you. Well, I know I don't see you, but I imagine you all. And I feel you around the kitchen table with me. I can feel you up behind me, standing with a cup of coffee in one hand and a cookie in the other, or a sandwich. And you're all just milling about me, looking out the window, sitting in the garden, coming back around the kitchen table, having a chat with me, giving me a hug, things like that. And yes, if you think I'm mad and lost the plot, that's fine. But that's how I see you all. Just milling in and out the kitchen, walking around me, giving me a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek, something like that. Saying something that makes us both laugh. And then Like say there's other of you behind me, they're just filling up their cups with coffee. The coffee cups, the pots are going the whole time. There's sandwiches going, there's cookies, there's cake. Everybody just comes in, helps themselves, sits down with me, because they're not going to have a cigarette with me. That's not a problem. So the ones of them that smoke can have a cigarette with me. And they're just milling about, in and out the garden, you know. And it's lovely. And that's how I imagine you all. And I just want to tell you that. I know you'll probably think this is silly, but I actually get a great deal of comfort from that, you know. Majority of you, I don't know what you look like, but I have an image of you in my head based on how you've been talking to me over the last year. The ones that I do know what they look like is great, but the rest of you who I don't know what you look like, then I sort of like hear your voice in my head, and I can feel you hugging on me, and I actually do take a great deal of comfort from that. So I wanted to say thank you for making me feel that way. It means a lot to me. And you do so much for me. You've no idea. You're such a loving bunch of people. And even the ones of you that don't comment, I can feel you. I can sense you. And I know you're good people. And I'm really lucky to have you here. So I just wanted to say thank you. I mean it, thank you. Well, I better go. And I think my hubby is doing something with meat and cheese. He hasn't said in what way. But it's exciting, whatever it is. And we're going to be having that shortly. And I'll be uploading this video while he's cooking dinner. So that'll be nice. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Back permitting. Because apart from moving my hands, I have tried very, very hard not to move in this seat. And my back is burning. So, to fellow sciatica sufferers, I feel you. Anyway, guys, I love you. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Please take care of yourselves. Right? Bye-bye for now, guys. Bye-bye.